What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the LFC Transfer Room YouTube channel and a Aston Villa preview. One of a kind, because we've never done this with an opposition fan before, but it's going to be fun and hopefully we're going to make it more regular. But as per usual, well, semi-usual, I'm joined by Mr. Matty in his fresh new studio. How are you, mate? You good?
Not bad, Kris. Not bad. I'm actually really worried about this game. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get into that. How are you?
I'm good, fella. I'm good. Not many people ask how I am. It's always, who are you? Not how are you? Charlie, how are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Just excited for the game, Little Gerrard return. Hopefully he claps the fans when we sing his song, but who knows?
And we're also joined by a man who has been on the channel before, Mr. Ty Bracey, Villa fan, host of Villa Spaces and the Villa View. How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm a bit outnumbered this time. It was just me and you last time, so it's 3-on-1 this time. So I'm gonna have to keep it PG to avoid me getting turned over.
Mate, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to say whatever you want right here, mate. It's all good. So first of all, we're going to get the boring narrative out of the way straight away. Steven Gerrard back to Anfield, Ty. What's it going to be like for the Villa fans' perspective?
I'm expecting business as usual. I expect a little clap and maybe a lap before the game, and I expect the same after the game. I don't think you'll get any form of reaction out of him during the 90 minutes at all. That he's, we were having a chat before we had seen him in charge, and he's very much shown that he's a man who means business. And for those 90 minutes, he's not Liverpool's legend. I can assure you of that. He'll be going in there to take 3 points. He doesn't care about what's happened, during his career. In that 90 minutes, he'll be out there trying to get the best out of the 11 players on the field who he's in charge of. So I don't think you're going to get. You may get a little clap at the start. I think he'll definitely open up at the end. But during those 90 minutes, it's Stevie Gerrard. It's Claret and Blue Army, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's brilliant. We've seen Stevie G. His start of his Villa career has been absolutely outstanding, Matty. How do you think he sort of shored them up? Because I think defensively they've looked a whole lot more solid than they did under Dean Smith.
Yeah, do you know what, right? I always knew he'd do well. His range, you don't go, although he's in the Scottish Prem, you don't go a full season unbeaten if you're not a good manager. You just don't. And I do wish him well. I really do wish him well. I don't mind Villa. They're a massive club. They've won a European Cup. They do deserve a lot more respect. And I made up for Stevie to finally win the Premier League. He's tightened them up massively defensively. They've had, 3 wins and 1 defeat in the 4 games, and the defeat's only been to City. So he's done well. And I want him to do well, because then that just means in 2 years he's going to come to Liverpool and smash it.
100%. Charlie, how worried are you going into this game? I mean, because as Matty mentioned, they are in decent form, Aston Villa. 3 wins, and that 1 defeat was against Man City. And by the way, Aston Villa are the only team this season to keep Man City underneath 1 expected goal, which is pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, I watched when they were 2-1 down, and I thought they played some good football. I was impressed the way they were passing it around the back, around midfield. It's not just. And obviously we saw this with Gerrard's Rangers, it's not just I hope, hoping, like hitting hope, like, long balls up, trying to get in the back. It's actual football that, has probably been instilled by him when he was in the Liverpool Academy with Klopp, and obviously his playing career and stuff. So it's, I wouldn't say I'm worried, but I've got a bit of nerves behind me. So if anything's going to happen, it's going to happen tomorrow. And Wolves was a bit of an indication that, if a team does defend well against us and limits our chances, and when we haven't got our goal scoring boots on, there can be an issue. So yeah, I'm not overly confident, but I do expect 3 points.
Yeah, just to expand on what Matty said, Ty. Defensively, you guys have looked a different beast under Gerrard. He famously had very good defense at Rangers. Is that like where you think the main issues were, and who else has stood out for you, especially in the last 4 or 5 games for Villa?
I think collectively as a whole, everybody's looks substantially better, and I'd like to think that that's going to be a long-term thing and not just a new manager thing, because a lot of teams play better under new managers. Norwich are playing some good football under Dean Smith, who 8 days previous was Aston Villa's manager. I think the midfield, Marvelous Nakamba, he's doing his best impression of N'Golo Kante every single game. We've seen a player go from a fringe player in the club, getting barely any minutes, to being probably one of the best players in the starting 11. We just collectively look better as a team. We look like a team, and you can see that there's a real game plan on the field when we're out there. We play possession football, we play a high press, and we pressure really hard when we're off the ball. And we showed that at Man City. We were unfortunate to not get anything from that game. We really were, and we can. I mean, the Bernardo Silva goal was incredible, but the Ruben Diaz goal, we probably could have gone without that happening, and come away with a point from it. But the only two teams since Steven Gerrard's took charge of Villa, the only two teams who have got more points than us in the Premier League in those 4 games are Liverpool and Man City. So we'll be coming there with a point to prove, mate. I'm excited. I don't have those nerves that you guys have, because he's not my club legend. So he's not. So I have really enjoyed online. I've had some really interesting conversations with Liverpool fans. Liverpool fans have been really good to me, and I'd like to think that I've been good to them too. I'm on a Liverpool channel now twice in the space of 6 weeks, and I wasn't very fond of Liverpool before Steven Gerrard took charge. Just because I've got a mate at work who's just one of those wind-ups who just he don't shut up about it. Yeah, just on a wind-up all the time. So instantly I'm always on the back foot because I know he's coming for a wind-up. But that seems to I've let that go now. And it's just I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a great game. And I think you guys are right in probably expecting 3 points. But don't be surprised if you don't come out of there with the 3 points.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you mentioned Marvelous Nakamba. I was so impressed with him against Leicester that you beat the other day. I thought he was just astounding. Yeah. I don't know how much you've seen of him, Matty, but I think he is the next, as he said, the best impression of N'Golo Kante that he's done.
I seen the Leicester game, and I was really impressed with Villa. I really was, and I always look at the midfield when it comes to a Gerrard team, because you want to see how much their midfielders are looking up to him. He is arguably one of the greatest midfielders of all time. And it looks as though he's revolutionised the Villa midfield. They look a completely different team to the one under Dean Smith. And Dean Smith done a fantastic job at Villa. Let's not undermine now. He was brilliant for them. But I do think Steve, he'll take them to the next level. And I think they'll have a decent cup run. And I do think maybe next season he could even be pushing European places under him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, one player who's been the thorn in the side of Liverpool from Aston Villa in recent years is Ollie Watkins, Charlie. Now, I would like to profess, and there is video evidence. I'd like to profess there is video evidence of me saying, firstly, when he signed for Villa, that he was the signing of the summer, and secondly, that Liverpool should sign him.
Pardon? He's a Liverpool fan.
Well, there you go, Charlie. Do you think he could be on the score sheet again for Villa on the weekend?
Arsenal fan, not Liverpool.
I thought he was. I remember seeing him speaking to Klopp saying it'd be a dream to play for Liverpool.
You probably
know for anyone to play for Liverpool. Don't mean to support him. I think it is Arsenal. I might be wrong, but I think it is Arsenal.
That's Ivan Toney.
He supports Liverpool. Do you know what? I rate him as a player. I do. I think he's a decent player for Villa. Like, do I think he's going to step up and reach the heights of a world-class number 9? Maybe he's only young. I don't know how old he is exactly, but he can't be older than 25. So, there's still room to grow there. So I'm not going to say, oh, he's rubbish, never won him. But he could have a similar career to Danny Ings. Danny Ings, absolute baller. And then he just sort of slides down. Obviously, now you've got Danny Ings as well. That slipped my mind. But yeah, I wouldn't have him at Liverpool. I think we can do better, not undermining Aston Villa. Just at the moment, I think we can do better as an actual, goal scorer number 9.
in my humble
He
opinion.
was the same about José, though, wouldn't he, Kris?
Exactly. People were saying we could do better than Jared Bowen, and now everyone's on the Bowen bus.
Okay,
That's all I'm saying.
Jota, yeah. I think I think Julian Ward spoke about it, about his underlying stats and how much pressure, how much of a workload that Wolves put on their wingers, which was why he wasn't scoring as many as he was. You know, for a winger, I think, or like a midfielder, but I think Ollie Watkins is a striker at the end of the day. His job is to put like balls in the back of the net. And with Gerrard, we will see that because Gerrard's going to play like progressive football, and like at the end of the day, he should be there to tap the ball in. And I think he'll do a great job for Villa. And I think, you know, if he went to Arsenal, it'd be a great signing for Arsenal. But would City or Liverpool suit him? I'm not convinced yet, but you never know. I could be eating my words in a few years, and he could, you know, be on like Haaland level.
Not to blow smoke up your ass, Ty, but I think Arsenal will be a step down from Villa. So,
no, I agree with that, and it's one of those things that I think he's gone massively under the radar. I think he is the hardest working striker in the Premier League, and that might come with a little bit of bias. But tomorrow, when the game's happening, watch the legs and the pressure he puts on the back four when you play out from the back. He will not stop for the entire game. I think there's a chance tomorrow, as Leon Bailey's injured. He's naturally a left winger. He was a left winger at Brentford. He did a season as a striker and then came to us. You might see him on the left wing and Danny Ings start central. It might happen. So he might not start as a number 9 tomorrow. What you said about would he be good enough for Liverpool or City? The problem is with City is if you eliminate the game time to give Gabriel Jesus, they play the majority of their games without a recognised centre forward. And that's just the quality. They've been playing Jack Grealish as a centre forward and Phil Foden and De Bruyne because they don't need one. And when football gets to that level, it's just no fun. Everyone should have a striker who's there. You know, I think Gundogan was their top goal scorer last season, which tells you everything that you need to know about that team. But do I think he'd be good enough for Liverpool? Yeah, I do. But I think he needs to have a really good season of 25 to 30 goals at Villa and show that he can do it at the highest level in the Premier League and come with that amount of goals.
Yeah, he won't have Adrian in net to let him score 3 goals this time.
that is very true. That is very
echoes of 7-2. That must have been the worst day of your life, surely.
I switched off.
You know what? It was not as bad because after about 4-2, I just started laughing. Like 4-1, I just started laughing.
The deflections were crazy, right? The deflections were crazy.
Do you know what made me like go, this game's a joke, like was when Adrian just decided to like move to the left for some reason. Like when the ball was clearly going to his right. I was like,
I tell you what though, the 2-0 loss at home to Everton was worse for me. A lot worse.
Yeah, of course, that's a derby. That's always going to be worse than getting stamped on by Villa.
It was terrible. It was terrible. Like, there's a clip of.
I honestly think that that 7-2 was the downest point of the season for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, mate,
we got absolutely slapped by Aston Villa. Slapped. We got humiliated, and we had Van Dijk in that plane. We had Adrian, but we had Van Dijk and Gomez, and that we got battered. It was horrible.
I say it's 4 with Alisson rather than 7. I blame Adrian for 3 of them. But yeah, so I know we're conscious of your time, Ty. So before, I just want to get to know how you think the entire game will go. Really, what's your biased prediction? What's your actual prediction, and whether those two align?
A biased prediction would be 2-2, and unbiased prediction would probably be 2-1 to you guys. Mohamed Salah is, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's the best player in the world at the minute, and that shouldn't be frowned upon by absolutely anybody. It's no joke. It's going to give Matty Target a hard time. It's going to give Tyrone Mings a hard time. But arguably, Ezri Konsa, for me, is the best English centre-back in the Premier League, and that probably comes with a little bit of Villa bias. But, you know, he's someone who goes very much under the radar, and because he doesn't play for England, people just assume that, you know, that he hasn't got that talent, but he has. But, you know, Mo Salah on his day, if he shows up, it's curtains for anybody. He's just that level of player.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very tight, I think. And yeah, I'll get the rest of the lads' predictions before we head off. Matty, how are you feeling? How do you think the game will go?
Do you know what? I don't want it to. As much as I'd love revenge on that 7-2, I don't want to batter Villa for Stevie. I'd rather just be.
Oh, come on, Matty, come on.
I don't want to humiliate Kris. I've got. It's just.
Are Villa your second team under Steven Gerrard?
No, I don't have a second team. Me, I just thought Liverpool.
Good answer. Good answer.
I really. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll check the results and I'll have a little smile if he wins. Like, because
are you following Villa closely for educational purposes?
I'll watch it on Match of the Day and that. But at the end of the day, Gerrard winning games takes points off our rivals, so it does have a good effect, really. But I don't want to batter them. 1-0 will do me, to be honest with you. I just don't want to see Stevie humiliated.
You're telling me, Matty, you would take 1-0 over 7-2?
Yeah.
I can't believe what I'm witnessing.
He loves his club legend. I admire it.
Steven Gerrard grew up 5 minutes down the road from me. He's a height.
I know, but
look,
even if he lost 7-2, the start he's had at Villa is still insane.
No, I don't want to slap him like that.
You know what, though? Yeah, about like a second club. I'm absolutely buzzing that he's left Rangers. I hate them to death, and it killed me every time I went and checked and they were winning. And I was like sort of happy because of Gerrard. I'm like made up now that I can, I can get back to my roots and be a Celtic over Rangers. So yeah, but
it'd be Bodrum and Turkey, who's in the Turkish third division, but just Liverpool for me.
So, Charlie, how do you think the game's going to head off?
Yeah, look, I'm confident. I spoke to Greg Evans as well from The Athletic, and he checked that out if you haven't. He said he's a bit worried too. So
Greg doesn't support Villa. Greg's a West Brom fan. Fun fact for you. Who reports on Villa?
Yeah, he reports on the Midlands, doesn't he?
Greg's a great guy. He's a good mate of mine as well. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's not confident either. But you know what? I'm going to go with 2-0. I don't think we'll concede.
Yeah, it's an overwhelming thing. I'm going to go out there. I'm just going to say, if we get an early goal, I think we could score 3 or 4, but I don't think we will. So I'm going to say 2-1 myself.
Do you know what? I'll be happy if we freeze. 4 is I think once you get over 4, it's a bit like hold your head in your hands for Villa and stuff. And I've never minded Villa fans, but with Gerrard and stuff, I'm on the Matty boat. Like, I'd rather not humiliate them.
Don't forget, Danny Ings will always score against Liverpool.
Yeah,
and Danny Ings, if he didn't have injuries, would still be at Liverpool. I mean that.
I'm convinced of that as well, to be fair. I'm absolutely convinced of that. He was, when he first came in, he was sick, wasn't he?
He's quality. He's quality striker. If he didn't have injuries, he would be playing at the top level. He's quality striker.
Maybe not started, but definitely in the squad. I'd definitely back that. But yeah, very much big thanks to Ty for joining us for this preview.
Very welcome.
People can find him at Ty Bracey on Twitter, as well as his podcasts and stuff. So it's all very, very cool. Make sure to follow him there. Make sure to subscribe to us on the LFC Transfer Room. We will be going live with Anfield Agenda 8:45 on Twitch. So make sure you join us there. But anyway, we will catch you very